That started. Right, so welcome to the Teacher Encounters programme. So this is our 5th interactive webinar, and this is going to be run by David Copin, the Educational Business Unit Leader at Konica Minolta Business Solutions. David is accompanied by Natalie Green, who is the Talent Management Leader, Veronica Bland, who is the Global Account Manager, Kathleen Rogers, the Bids and Tenders Manager, and Henry Eager, who is the Schools Account Manager. So as I said, I'm just going to briefly introduce the programme. If everyone's popped their names in the chat, that's great. If you haven't done so already, please just do it throughout the session, and then I'll hand over to David to present. So within the Careers Hub, we feel that it's crucial for key information to be passed on to educational staff, which can then be passed on to students when they're thinking about their future choices or any careers that they might be considering, especially in regards to things such as entry pathways, any recruitment processes, or any challenges and barriers that the young people may be facing. So as I'm sure you're all aware, teachers and other educational staff have a real influence on students in school. So this programme is being run to provide teachers and other staff with an opportunity to gain this information and then pass it on to those who they feel relevant. So it is actually a programme that's run nationally, but we've been lucky enough within the council to be able to fund this through our Essex. And the aim of the project is to provide teachers and staff and allow them to be more confident and better informed when discussing future choices with students, as I previously explained. So we do have a variety of different organisations taking part in these encounters, just because we're aiming to gain interest from all different subject areas. And aside from these webinars that are taking place, we also have workplace visits, which are going to be taking place kind of the end of May, June time. And you'll be able to see kind of how the business runs firsthand. These will all be on our Eventbrite page. So what all the attendees use to sign up to this webinar, they'll be on the same page as that. So just have a look on there. But if you do want any more information about any more upcoming webinars or any workplace visits that are taking place, just drop me an email and I'll be more than happy to help. And just to briefly mention as well, we are currently in the process of piloting another project which is called Open Doors. It's essentially the same as the Teacher Encounters programme that we're currently running, but it will be aimed at students. So students will be able to get this information firsthand rather than the teachers coming in and receiving the information and passing it on. They'll be able to see it for themselves. So just keep an eye out for this because more information will be released very soon. So there will be plenty of opportunities during the session for questions. Please do feel free to put your hand up at any point and ask questions. If you'd prefer to wait till the end, there'll be a chance at the end for questions to go round. But we do aim to make the session interactive as possible. So please do get involved. I know there's a couple of poll questions to pop up at the end. So if you just want to let me know, anyone from the team, when to kind of prompt those, and I'll be more than happy to do so. So I'm pleased to pass you on to David and the rest of the team at Konica Minolta, and they'll be able to better inform you on the business and answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thanks, Isabel. I am just going to attempt to share, so hopefully you should be able to see some content appearing.
Yeah, we can see that. Thank you.
Right. So welcome to this webinar that we're running in conjunction with the Greater Essex Careers Hub. The agenda for this session is to first of all just give you a little introduction to the team, give you a bit of background and history and inform you who Konica Minolta actually are. Then we're going to give you a bit of information about routes to entry into our organisation and how we can promote early careers programmes. And then another couple of members of the team are going to give you some information about what their job roles are, how they got into that role, and what any key skills they believe are relevant for those roles. And then we'll have a Q&A at the end. So by all means, I say, if you want to keep your questions at the end, or if you want to post them in the chat during the webinar, then we'll make sure we answer those as we go through. So firstly, quick introduction to the team. So I'm the Education Business Unit Leader. Myself and my team look after a wide variety of schools and academies that we deal with as customers through Konica Minolta. I have a team of 10 account managers, one of which you'll meet a little bit later. But I have that sort of full responsibility of looking after all of our education customers across the UK. My colleagues that you see up on screen are going to introduce themselves a little bit later on in their own little presentation, so I'm not going to cover them in too much details. But as I say, joining me on the webinar, we've got Natalie, Veronica, Kathleen, and Henry. So, a little bit about who we are. Some people may have heard of Konica Minolta. We get lots of things that people know the brand name for, but it isn't always what we do now. So what we thought we'd do is just share a little video with you to start with, to give you a bit of information about what we do and who we are globally.
We are Konica Minolta, a global family of visionaries, a team of 45,000, supporting 2 million corporate clients in 150 countries.
Sorry about that, seems to have stopped.
Committed to transforming society to improve the lives of many. We began as two inspired businesses that grew stronger by joining forces, driven by innovation, famous for our world firsts. Today, we continue to lead the way in 3 key fields: imaging, materials, and optics. Our story doesn't end there. We are responding to a rapidly changing world dominated by digital experiences, exploring the art of the possible with colleagues, partners, and customers, fascinated by the unknown and unseen, creating technology that makes the invisible visible, providing a digital workplace of the future, ensuring safer and more efficient organizations, supporting marketing with customer insight video analysis, machine learning, and commercial printing, transforming healthcare by video analysis, image recognition, and workflow automation, revolutionizing medical discovery and helping practitioners fight some of the world's most serious diseases. We are striving to benefit everyone through new ideas that enrich society. We are focused on your needs, solving your challenges, empowering your people, making your business smarter, safer, more sustainable. Together we can transform the future. Are you ready for what's next? We are.
So, as I say, a little introduction to give you a bit of a flavour about what it is we do. Firstly, what I'd like to do is talk about where Konica Minolta is globally.
We are.
There we go. So we are a Japanese company. Our headquarters is in Tokyo. We were originally founded in 1873 as a photographic film company, and that's where a lot of people know our name from, in either films or cameras of various different types. It's not a business that we're in any longer, and haven't been for quite a few years now, but we've still got a lot of that heritage and that technology brought into the products and solutions that we sell today. We've got offices in over 50 countries worldwide and net sales of over £5 billion. The little first chart there will just give you an idea that actually Europe is our biggest market overall, but we do have a big presence within the United States and China and Asia, but particularly in Japan, where actually 20% of our worldwide revenues actually come from Japan as a country on its own. It talked about it a little bit on the video that you just saw, but we've got a couple of key areas that we work in around the world. 50% of our revenues comes from digital workplace, and that may be printing, or our office technologies, or helping people store and retrieve documents effectively. We've then, the next section, professional print, is helping organisations where print is their business. So these may be print shops that you see down in the high street, to some of the largest printing organisations around the world. We also have a significant healthcare market, and through our imaging technology, we supply X-ray machines and other imaging products within a healthcare arena. And then finally, we've got our industry sector, and this is a wide variety of different products, from industrial materials to sensors that may check that the specific colour of your car is exactly what the manufacturer wanted when it's sprayed within the paint shop as it's being produced. So there's lots of different technologies that we use. But overall, let's say about 50% of our revenues come from that workplace or office solutions business, and that's what we represent within the UK. This slide is just a nice overview of our sort of global strategy. If you look up in the top right, we have our overarching philosophy of the creation of new values, and this reflects our aim, our long-term aim to support people and society by creating and delivering new value in multiple forms for both our customers and society as a whole. As you move down into the middle, you'll see our vision. This is our 2030 vision to bring imaging to the people. And this is expressing our ideals and our position in society as an imaging technology company. It's both our heritage and our strength going forward. And that it's also reflecting our desire to help society and bring value for society. If you go to the bottom left of that slide, you'll see our 6 values, and this is really ingrained within all of the organisations around the world. And I think there's a couple of things that I'd pick out on there. Certainly, we are an open and honest company, and we always try and treat our customers in that way. And it's something that comes through all of the staff that we generally meet. And all of the, particularly from other organisations that I've been in the working world, actually that passion and that customer centricity comes through in everything we do across the organisation. The other thing that's a really strong value for us is our inclusive and collaborative nature. We, as an organisation, we really do pull together as a team. And the inclusives, we have a number of employee work groups that focus on different areas of our workforce and try to give all of our employees a voice within our organisation. If we now look at us in the UK, so we are headquartered in Basildon. Some of you may know, if you know Basildon well, might recognise that building just in the Pips Hill area of Basildon. We have 600 staff based all across the UK. And one of the things that really sets us apart is a flexible working policy. And you said it's fully flexible, and it really is that. So obviously a number of employers decided to allow people to work from home and those sort of things within during the COVID period. It's actually something that we as a company have adopted as a sort of fully flexible policy going forward. And by fully flexible, that means if it suits you to work at home, then work at home. If it suits you to work in an office, then work in an office. And we've got a number of offices around the UK. We've also then supplemented that with other offices through the Regis organisation, so we can book and attend offices more locally to us. We can hold meetings in a location that suits the attendees of that meeting, not just where our office is. And it really does make us stand out as an employer, and it's something a lot of employees value, that flexibility and adaptability to suit their working styles, but also their personal life. In the UK, we have a number of key product offerings which reflect those worldwide ones. So our managed print services, so this may be office printers or the sort of printers that perhaps you use in some of your schools or the organisations that you work within. Our IT services sector looks at bringing IT and managed IT provision, so helping organisations where they perhaps have cybersecurity issues or enhancing their IT provision. As I said, production printing is this commercial printing side of our business. Then we also have a video solution side, which is, you saw some of that in the video about sensing and intelligently monitoring CCTV solutions to and promote security of workplaces and schools. And then the final key area is outsourcing. So we have a number of employees in Sofia in Bulgaria, and they actually work on behalf of our customers, and customers can outsource to that organisation to provide IT help desks or other sales and marketing support. Just to give you a frame of where some of the people that you'll hear from later on work within our organisation, so we have 5 key areas: a sales and marketing organisation, which is fairly self-explanatory, our finance and customer operations team that manage all of our billing and look after our customers after they've had their contract activated. Our service and support team is a really crucial part, because where we have lots of devices out in our customers, we need someone who will go and support those and fix errors. So we have a large team of engineers across the country, and also remote support people who can provide extra backup from there. And then our governance and environment team, looking after all of our certifications and corporate governance, as well as a really important thing to us in terms of our environmental and sustainability goals. And finally, our people and culture team, who basically look after all of our employees and make sure that we're all happy. So who do we work with across the UK? There's a broad range of different organisations, both in the public and private sector, and you'll probably recognise some of these as common household names in the automotive industry, in the energy industry, but also within the charity sector. You'll see Dogs Trust and RSPB, where we support them nationally and help with all of their print needs, as well as some education customers in terms of things like University of Cambridge, University of Leeds, and some other public sector customers around there. So lots of customers across the UK, but some key ones that you'll recognise. And then drilling down a little bit more into education. So we have 30,000 print devices in both schools, academies, universities, colleges across the UK. And there are 4,000 schools and academies who are specifically customers of ours. We have a team that specialises in those schools and academies, really to understand and support the needs of education, because it is a very specialised industry. And through our frameworks that we work with, we're recommended to those schools and academies by the Department for Education. A nice little quote on the bottom there in the green box from one of our customers at Very Grammar School. And the reason why I picked this one in particular was that they really credited us on understanding what the school and what they were trying to achieve, and really helping them out and managing that process. And taking some of that stress off them, because ultimately for educational organisations, they don't want to have to worry about print. They want to focus on the learning and learning outcomes for their students. As I said, that environmental and social aspect of our organisation is really important. And here's just a couple of highlights of things that we've done to support some of our customers and some learning initiatives across the UK. And you'll see there's things like we've helped to support all-weather pitches, donating water bottles to help hydrate students, as well as some more specific things around help supporting STEM and employability workshops across the UK. So hopefully that's given you a good overview of Konica Minolta and what we do. I'm now going to hand over to Natalie to give you a little bit more information on routes to entry in early careers programmes.
Thanks, David. Thanks ever so much. Are you all right to move the slides on for me, please?
I will do, yes, of course.
That's wonderful. Okay, well, I'm really pleased to be here. My name's Natalie. I'm responsible for talent management in Konica Minolta, UK. And that means anything from our recruitment, attracting talent into our organisation, our training provision, our leadership development, and then our talent programmes and our different programmes that we offer to all to colleagues. It also includes our early careers and particularly our apprenticeship programmes. So I'm going to talk for a moment about a number of different entry points into Konica Minolta, and we have a number of them. We have and have for many years been an apprentice employer, and we have various apprenticeships across HR, project management, finance, technical and digital schemes at different levels of apprenticeship qualification. We also have direct hire routes into the organisation where applicants can apply via our career pages. And we have there lots of variety of entry-level roles, professional roles and specialist roles that are advertised throughout the business. And because we know that growing our early careers talent is critical to developing the capabilities that we need to future-proof our business, we're going to be shortly launching a specific early careers business programme, which targets school leavers or those who are looking for their first roles in business. If you've recently finished school and looking to find your first path. The aim of that programme, as it says on the slides, is to attract and is to develop and retain the best diverse early careers talent that will meet the future needs of Konica Minolta. And we're looking to build a pipeline of talented specialists and future managers. So what are we doing? We're focusing on developing future ready skills, capabilities and behaviours, along with offering enhanced learning support. And with this scheme, we'll be offering a business apprenticeship professional qualification at an advanced level that also has a nationally recognised certificate from one of the top leading awarding bodies in the UK. So I'm going to spend a few moments now just talking about what we're looking for in future candidates in terms of skills and capabilities. Just move to the next slide, please. Okay, you'll see here, and it's a bit busy, but I'm hoping that you'll be able to download a copy if you're looking at those capabilities and skills. This is what we're looking for in future candidates. So the early careers future skills area indicated in the first box, and it highlights a range of generic future ready skills, regardless of the role that you're coming into. And you note that they're mainly business skills and behavioural skills. So I'm just going to select a few of them. The first one being the importance of being a lifelong learner. And that's all about wanting to learn, having the passion to develop and continue to grow and learn throughout any role that you have. It's all about also looking to be adaptable and to be change ready. Change, as we know, is a constant in all our lives and in business. So it's having those skills that will help you adapt, that help you to be able to manage and thrive in changing environments. But pull out storytelling, and this is an area that we're giving more and more focus to. So it's not just the ability to be able to communicate effectively with others, it's about being able to share that information in an effective way that engages the audience and the people that you're speaking with. In the past, I think it's been referred to often as an elevator pitch. So imagine you meet a senior leader or a CEO and you're going into the elevator and they just simply say to you, "Hi, what do you do?" It's all about knowing that you've got 60 seconds. How do you showcase yourself? How do you engage in those 60 seconds? And the final one I'll just pull out is about having a bit of entrepreneurial spirit. It's about taking a risk in business. So after doing some careful planning and thinking about the strategy, it's about individuals that take a risk to see if that outcome that they'll get outweighs any possible failure. The focus then turns from some of those generic core skills into preparing our early careers new starters into their core learning and what's that journey that will look like whilst they're on the programme with us. And we want everybody to have the very best chance to succeed. So we have 4 stages. First stage, very much about preparing you. It's linking back once again to that love of learning, always going to be critical throughout your whole career, whether it remain in Konica Minolta or in other organisations. And also about your personal brand, which is about who you are, how do you see yourself, and how do you come across to other people? Second stage then moves into talking about you, being all about you. It's about emotional intelligence, being able to manage your emotions and build effective relationships with other people, whether that's colleagues or customers or partners. It's having analytical thinking to be able to make good, informed business decisions and being change ready. The third stage then moves into being about Konica Minolta and the business that you've joined, spending time understanding who we are, what it is that we do, how do we do, and really importantly, being that inclusive organisation so you feel part of it, that you know you have a place that you belong. And finally, part of the programme looks at the future. And again, this goes back to everyday basic skills, looking for agile people, people that will be able to simplify processes that give us better experiences. It's all about creativity and the importance of being innovative, discovering how to be creative, learning how to be more creative, and trying different ways to approach different tasks. So that's it in a whistle-stop tour, just looking at some of the skills that we have and that we're looking for, and then how do we help develop those skills further once you've joined Konica Minolta on one of our programmes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop and I'm going to hand over to Kathleen, who's going to tell us a little bit more about her role and what she does. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. That was really, really interesting and insightful. So, as I've introduced myself, I'm the National Framework Bids and Tender Manager. What does that mean? Well, that means I've got a really varied, quite a wide job. I do an awful lot of tasks and support a lot of people. It's part of the sales function. And essentially what my team do is they write responses for tenders to win business. So if your school, your organisation has a requirement, say, for example, for some equipment, for some printing equipment, or for some video technology, that kind of thing, my team will be the people that will take those pieces of documentation and formulate you a response. So we will essentially tell you that sales story on a piece of paper. All right, so some of you may have been involved in that type of work before from the procurement angle. So we're the opposite to the procurement. So we do the sales on the paper. We provide simple quotes to the public sector and also to the enterprise sector. So we work, from what you've seen on that previous slide that David showed us, we've got all sorts of customers across all kinds of different organisations across the UK. We provide anything from a simple quote, very, very high level information for customers, all the way through to the ins and outs of how things work, how the business operates. My team are there to make sure that we present the best face of Konica Minolta and that we are given the best chance to win. What I do particularly as part of that is actually to support my team. I'm there to take away the roadblocks and to make sure that we have the best chance of being successful with our proposal to the customer. I'm there to make sure things get done. People are, motivated, pushed in the right direction, the right conversations are having, and that every time we put in an opportunity, we're given the chance to win the business from the customer. The other side of that is looking after our frameworks. So some of you may have heard of the buying frameworks that the public sector uses. Essentially, these are our biggest customers. And what they do is they regulate the procurement that we respond to. So what they will do, they will have a predefined set of products, suppliers, and terms that go alongside. So pricing, commercial terms, the agreement is already set. I then make sure that we get spaces on these frameworks because we have to be approved. To do that, we have to go through a process of competition to make sure that that happens. Once we are on these competitions, we then receive opportunities from the likes of your schools because we are a pre-approved supplier. I make sure that we follow the rules and regulations because each of the frameworks has different rules, things that we can and cannot do. We have a range of buyers, we have a range of organisations that we work with, not just schools, also the councils, the local government, blue light, any of those public sector organisations are eligible to buy through these frameworks. I have a team that also look after those frameworks. So we have to have like a business relationship manager that makes sure that these customers are serviced and that everything happens correctly in the background. So I have to make sure that we follow the rules and, you know, that everything that we're providing to our customers is in line with what we've said we would do. So I have a team of 9 people, very different roles across my team, all the way through from an administrative role for somebody who coordinates things for me, they push out emails, they do communications, to the next layer up, which is where I have a team of people that support mid to low level tenders. And then I have a team of experts who are my creative writers that do the majority of the work for us. If you could move on for me, Dave, that would be great. So how did I get into this role? So it's not a role that you would think to, you know, search on LinkedIn. Oh, I think I want to be a bid and proposal manager today. I got here on quite a long journey. I've been at Konica for nearly 16 years now. Not 16. I'm nearly in my 6th year at Konica, sorry. A fantastic organisation to work with. I've worked with Dave the entire time that I've been here. It's very inclusive, innovative, you know, informative. It's a great organisation to be part of, and I'm really, really proud to be here, hence why I've stayed. So where did I start? Well, I came straight from secondary school. I didn't want to do the university. I didn't know what I want to do. And if you ask me today, what do I want to do? I still will tell you, I don't actually know. I'm just going to continue where I am. So I completely missed out university and found myself, as a lot of 18-year-olds do, working in retail. So I had a weekend job at Sainsbury's, which did turn into an opportunity for me to become a regional manager. I started on their store managers program, but realised quite quickly that at the age of 18, I much prefer going out with my friends than stacking shelves at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. So I quickly realised that retail wasn't the career for me. I then found myself working at Essex County Council purely by fluke, and it was probably the best place that I could have started. They gave me the opportunity to learn all kinds of things. The internet was just becoming a thing. Word, Excel, you know, all of the Microsoft products were just becoming, you know, frequently used within organisations. It gave me a fantastic start in life. I worked in what was called the emergency planning department. I don't know if it still exists, but we used to look after the county basically. So we would look after any events in terms of flooding, fire. Some of you may remember there was a plane crash at Stansted Airport many, many years ago. We coordinated the response to that to make sure that everything was cleaned up properly, the investigation took place, etc., etc. So it was a really interesting place for me to work. I then found myself moving on. Some of you may be able to see from that picture, we've got a wind turbine and we've got what we call a cable ship. Now, I went to work for a company in Chelmsford called Global Marine, and I had no idea what they did the day I joined. I just turned up there because my time at Essex County Council was through. It was time to move on and do something different. I ended up working for an organisation that lays fibre optic subsea cables. So all of your internet cables that go across the ocean, that's what they do. They also install wind turbines and bring all of the power back to shore, because how else do we get wind farm power? It's all done by cables. So I started working in fibre optics, engineering, etc., etc. I started in a sales role at that organisation, but quickly found that face-to-face sales wasn't really something that suited me. So an opportunity there came for me to move into the bids department, and that was very much a creative role for me because I found that I liked writing things, I liked telling stories. And in order to win an opportunity to install a cable that goes from the UK over to the US, for example, which is the most popular route around the world at the moment, you've got to stand out, you've got to differentiate and be above the competition. So I started working there, had a thoroughly wonderful time, spent 10 years there, and then decided it was time to do something different. So I went from the bottom of the ocean into space. And I ended up working for E2V, who are a very well-known Chelmsford company. They make sensors, microchips for space satellites. So I was working in space imaging. So I'd gone from stacking shelves to offshore power to space, which was quite a strange combination, but fascinating nonetheless. Gave me a fantastic experience working in the high-tech science industry. I worked on lots and lots of projects. You may have seen about 2 weeks ago, there's a mission for JUICE for NASA, who they launched, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and that's a satellite that's going to go and investigate Jupiter's icy moons. So I was actually part of the team that worked on the sale of the microchips that go into that, those satellites. And then the time came for me to move on again, and Konica Minolta was, as a local company, I don't live far from the Basildon office, 738 steps to be exact, in case you wanted to know. And the opportunity came for me to change careers. Now, I'd never done a manager's role. I'd always worked in bids. I'd always done the writing. I'd always done the creative piece. And this opportunity came up for me. So I thought, well, why not? I took the chance. 6 years later, it's still a really innovative, supportive, fantastic organisation for me to work with. We do so many good things. Dave's talked about the agile working, the product set that we have, the people that we work with. And now, obviously, the new routes to careers and the encouragement and the change that we want to bring Konica Minolta to more people across the UK, basically. And that's me. What else have we got? Right, key skills. There is another slide. So what skills do we need for my role? Well, I've talked a little bit about being creative. You also need to inspire people. You need to be able to motivate, keep people going, make things look interesting, but also articulate the story that you're bringing across. So for students that are, keen at writing, creative writing, marketing, sales, Konica Minolta really does offer fantastic opportunities for those types of students. There is also a professional route to market for the role that I now have. We have an organisation called the APMP. This is a worldwide recognised qualification that you can now earn, which then basically means that you are qualified in the Association of Proposals Management Professionals, of which I am one. So that's me done. I think I'm handing over now, and I will hand over to Vern. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Well done. Excellent. So yes, I am Veronica Bland, Global Account Manager, and I actually work in the private sector. I have been with Konica for 16 years, and I did get that one right. It's definitely 16 years. And I implement IT solutions and services, which I know David kindly shared some of those earlier. I do all of the account management side. So I do everything from the pre-sales, all of the engagement, to understand requirements for a client. And once we've got an agreement or a contract in place, I then see that through for the whole time. So my main role is to find opportunities in my global and corporate accounts. I have one at the moment where it was originally a managed print service, but now we're looking at other services around some of the intelligent video solutions, because they've got some areas that they're not quite sure are being protected, and they've had a few fires and thefts, unfortunately. So I'm hoping to do that with them as well. So it's about continuously improving areas of a client's business. It isn't just, here you go, Mr. Customer, see you when the contract's up. That's not how we work. One of the main things that I do really enjoy is the fact that I get to kind of go behind the scenes of a lot of these companies. So, for example, when David was showing earlier some of the clients, PepsiCo is one of the ones that I was lucky enough to win a few years ago. And when you go behind the scenes, it's a little bit like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but hopefully don't lose anyone in a chocolate river along the way, where you can actually see how everything really works. So I've been really lucky in a lot of the clients that I can really understand, how do they actually get my Pepsi to me? How does that all work? But interacting with them on their own space as well, it really helps you to build a really good relationship with them. It is about partnering with them. They are a business, they are people, they have challenges themselves, and we're here to understand that and support them with them. The main things that I have to do, so I do have targets that I need to hit. Luckily, I've been okay doing that through my career, but it does take a lot of work. I work closely with my team and colleagues. I work a lot with Kathleen, who's just been going through the bids and tenders, even if it's not necessarily a specific bid or a tender that we're doing. I can call on Kathleen's support if there's areas that I need to do. So that is a really useful tool to be able to do that, because we have lots of different clients, lots of different experience. It means that I can make sure that what I'm presenting in front of the client, we can answer correctly for them. So as I said, it's an ongoing service that we work for. So I would do quarterly business reviews with clients. That gives us more time to maybe go through specifics of the contract. Are we meeting all of the service level agreements that we've agreed? What other improvements can we do? I also am really proud that I work on quite a few internal projects to improve that customer experience. So we have one at the moment that is literally called Customer Experience Workshop. And it's bi-weekly where we look at how can we improve, how are we changing, what processes do we need to do. So in my particular role, I generally manage clients with over 250 employees. It is about providing the right solution for the client. We're really lucky as a company that we have a lot of good services and solutions ourselves, but we partner with a lot of great companies as well. So we can be very flexible in what we are offering those. Any solution, I've come up with weird and wonderful things. If I need to, I can usually find something that will work for them. But you do have to manage the time effectively. In sales, things can come out of left field quite a lot. So you do need to make sure that you keep on top of everything. And sometimes you just need to turn everything else off and just focus on what you have in hand, albeit a presentation that you're preparing, figures and maths. I'm not the best at figures and maths, but it has improved greatly. So that's always good. And I need to always make sure that the message that I am conveying is the message that Konica Minolta want represented. It's taken a long time to get the brand to where we are. We're really proud of it. So it's something that I always make sure that I cover as well. Next slide, please, Dave. So my career path, as you can see, I've pretty much been at Konica. So unlike Kath, I did know what I wanted when I was younger. I wanted to be Johnny Depp's wife, but it turned out, and quite glad now that I wasn't. However, my older sister, a lot of our friends worked in sales, and I saw they had money. So I was like, I'd quite like some money, please. I saw an advert for Konica Minolta that, as Dave said, at the time were more known around the imaging and cameras and so forth. So I didn't think I was honestly going to get the job for trainee sales executive because I had no experience. I knew little about the industry. However, the one thing that saved me was at the end of the interview, I said, please, may I have the job? And I didn't realise in sales, if you ask for the order, that's what they like you to do. I was really, really lucky. I had a great manager, I had a great team, great training to help me fully understand. Now, years ago, we had less of a portfolio than we do now, but we still had things that weren't available openly in a lot of the market. But I was able then to successfully go from trainees, and I went into sales executive, more in the small medium accounts. So generally probably around the sort of, less than 250 clients we looked after. Just as I found out I was pregnant, I had an opportunity for a strategic corporate account manager role. Luckily, because my experience and I had a proven track record, and I said I'd only take 3 months off maternity, I was able to move into that, and that really helped elevate me. So I was dealing with larger, a lot more complex accounts, but because again of the training, the experience, everyone around me really supported me to do that. And actually my clients, they really gave me that confidence that I knew what I was doing. I know what I'm talking about here. I've still got customers who've now been with me for a long time who are still with me. So I was really keen to do that. I then, not long after that, got asked if I could help with the global account side of things. Global accounts are a little bit of a different beast because they have different regulations and legislations in countries. You've suddenly then got to work out exchange rates, all those sorts of things. But again, I had 2 or 3 people who are really strong in that area. And I like the fact of, I have America that I can talk to if I need things, and not so much Japan because the time difference, it can be quite tiring when you've got those calls with them. But again, I'm lucky in the fact that I can reach out to people all over the country. And actually, because of that experience, it's really nice that now some of my colleagues call on me for assistance with it. And I'm always there to be able to help them. When we had a little bit of a reshuffle looking at accounts around COVID time, I was asked to do more of the global and corporate account management. I was really lucky that I had already had that experience with the corporate side of things previously and the global. So that's where I am at the moment. Couldn't be happier. Absolutely love it. It can be tricky, it can be difficult, but I literally wouldn't change any of it. I'm really lucky with my clients. I've never lost one. I did lose one, but that was because they moved out of the UK. So that one wasn't my fault. But the rest of them have stayed with me, and hopefully will stay with me. I can't express enough how important a real partnership is with them. So next slide, please. Thank you. Right, for sales and account management, there's lots of skills. However, I think the main things are good communication. That is not just with the client, that's with your colleagues, that's with suppliers, that's with all of your partners. You really have to communicate in the best possible way you can, if that's on a call, a face-to-face meeting, an email. It's really just, it helps build that relationship and keep that loyalty so you can carry on to be successful. And innovative. I know people have been saying it all along, but we do have to be innovative. Because of COVID, everything sort of moved really quickly, and a lot of people are in situations where they didn't think they were going to be, and we've had to come up with different solutions around that, albeit if it could be a contract that we need to look at how to be innovative on that. If it's a service, it's a solution, it's who we're working with. So it's trying to always be a little bit step ahead. And tenacious. So sales can be difficult. You can take you a long time to win people. I think my longest took me 2 years, but I won them. And now I've had them for 14 years and they keep working with me and they are growing. So you can get knockdowns, but that's okay. You can just try another way. You know, we're lucky that we have so many different services and solutions now. There's other things we can talk to them about. So the only way that you can get the success is by keeping that resilience up. But if you do get down, it's okay. I have down moments when maybe it didn't quite go right, and I go to my team and I say, just feeling a bit down, or you know, I know that I can go to, you know, some of the HR and say I'm having a bit of a bad time. You know, there's always people there, and then you can uplift yourself by all of your previous wins, all of the good work you've done. So that's me. Thank you.
Hello, so I'll just take over here. Mine's Henry. I'm actually covering off the section for two of us, as Sam's unavailable today, unfortunately. So I sit within Dave's team as one of his account managers. Very similar in terms of job title as Veronica, but actually a completely different beast altogether. It's a little bit more localized. So I look after a number of schools across the UK in specific geographical areas, Kent, Essex and a bit of Wales. It's a bit of an unusual mix, but overall I'm the first point of contact if there's a customer that's got any issues. So generally speaking, obviously if they'd like to look at getting a new device, or they'd look to remove a device or anything like that, change the contract around, then they would contact me as a first point. It also means that I have to be fairly familiar with all of our products across the line. So that goes from software to our intelligent video solutions and the kind of bread and butter of every day, which is the photocopiers. Key part of how I look after our schools is to build and maintain those relationships with them. So from the point of contact when we first speak to a customer, I'm the person that they get to know. So I'm the kind of face of the business that they deal with, and quite a lot of that is making sure that I help them wherever best I can. Obviously, I don't know everything. I don't deal with the whole business. So over time, I will need to redirect various queries towards the right members of the team. So we do have solutions experts or experts in our intelligent video solutions that can go into a lot more detail with our customers. And it's about being able to manage those communications and help bring those conversations forwards. There's obviously as well billing side of things. So there's the billing and the service side that David mentioned earlier. And I need to be involved in those conversations too, to help make sure that everything does run smoothly throughout the life of the contract. When we're talking to our customers, ultimately, if it's down to understanding the exact needs of a particular customer, and I'm sure you'll know between schools there's a lot of different requirements that crop up at various different points of the year. So towards April time, some customers might be looking to be closing down their financial year and move forwards into the next one, and then there'll be other times such as around the onboarding in the new year, so around August, September time, when they're looking at scanning solutions and the like. I need to then take those requirements and actually formulate a solution that's going to fit what the requirements are that have been defined by the school in this instance. So it's about taking a problem, understanding the problem, then fixing the problem. Aside from that side of things, which is more the sales side, I look through the whole contract, through the life. So it's not just about selling machines at the end of the day or selling a solution. It's about then making sure that that solution's installed and implemented in the best possible way, and then managing for the duration of that contract. So over the 5 years that a solution may be in place, being there to ensure that we get to the end of the 5 years without any hiccups, and that everything goes swimmingly, and hopefully we start a new contract for another 5 years. Most of the customers, as I'm sure you will know, some machines, some customers only have the one machine, some customers will have up to 200 machines. So it does vary based on size, and there are some very small primary schools out there with only 15 pupils, and then you've got some multi-academy trusts that have got 5, 10, 15 schools in them. So it's about being adaptable to the different situations, and also being aware of the key trends that occur in the smaller schools and the bigger schools, and being able to adapt and move with the times with those. Part of the whole Konica message is that we are customer centric, and it's not about pushing to sell as much as we can. It's about making sure that those solutions meet our customer requirements, because, as I say, at the end of the day, we're not going to sell 200 machines to a small primary school and hope for the best. Dave, could you just move on a slide, please? So my history with the business, and I'll come on to Sam's in a minute, but my history with the business is I graduated from school, much like Kathleen, but I actually took the route to go through to university. So I spent some time at university. After leaving university, I decided that actually a good way forward for me was I enjoyed speaking with people. So that was my requirement for a job, was to be talking to customers and speaking to people. So throughout university, I worked at various restaurants as a waiter out front, talking to customers all the time, obviously doing the rest of the job as well, but not just standing and talking. And then after leaving university, I moved back into being a waiter. After a little bit of time, I managed to find an office role that was more customer facing than most of the roles that were on the market with an office equipment company. And the role originally started out as more of a customer service side of things, but eventually formed into more of the sales side of things that I've now moved into. And I worked with that business for a couple of years before getting surprisingly approached by Dave to ask if I was interested in a job at Konica Minolta, which I accepted. So I've been with the business now for 4 years, and in various different roles. So at one stage I was working specifically with public sector. So prior to the reshuffle that Veronica mentioned, I worked with hospitals, schools, and universities. So anything really, charities along that lines. After the restructure, I joined Dave's team as one of the education specialists. So now I deal almost primarily with schools, which gives me a little bit more focus and a little bit more understanding of exactly what our customer needs are. Moving on to Sam. Sam's had a slightly different approach to his career. So I'll run through. So he graduated from school and decided to again go through the university route. He felt that was the best route for him. I believe that Sam then shortly after joining university decided that the course that he'd joined wasn't quite for him. It wasn't the topic that most interested him. So he moved over to just joining industry straight away. He went and worked for various companies during that time, such as NatWest and Superdry. And then shortly afterwards, he did return back to university, doing a completely different course that was more interesting to him. And then through a graduate scheme run with the university, which was mentioned earlier on, we actually hired Sam through that graduate scheme to join into the education team as an education account manager. Some of the key skills that we as account managers need to retain is problem solving, because ultimately we've got a list of requirements or a shopping list from customers, and we need to understand exactly how our solutions can fit around that and to solve those problems that our customers are having. Quite a lot of it comes down to being able to talk to our customers. So there's a heavy element of interpersonal skills. It would be absolutely wonderful if people could just go on a website and buy stuff from us, but at the same time, it's great to understand the exact requirements and to have those conversations to build that relationship with our customers. So it's key to be able to actually spend the time to understand our customers as people and not just people that are going to buy things. And then again, there's time management. So I deal with over 2,000 devices across the UK. So there was a fairly significant number of queries that come my way. And it's about managing that time to ensure that we're giving our customers the right level of attention for their needs, and to make sure we don't get bogged down with emails when we should be doing other stuff. This is kind of between myself and Sam. We've agreed that the recommendation for this route, the kind of shared route that we've had there, is purely because when you're at university, you start to learn problem solving, your problem solving, your interpersonal skills, and your time management as part of your course. So throughout your course, you'll no doubt make friends. You'll work with each other and collaborate to on some group projects. That's a key part of some of the courses at university, and so a lot of those skills do come into play when you're at university, and therefore get pulled through when you then go and join the workforce. It's a really nice, easy path. So it's fairly standard for a lot of students to look at their careers from the age of 15, 16, when they might be considering whether they're going to university or to college or any other thing, to look and actually go, right, if I do this, I can then move on to this, and once I go to university, I can get a job. So it's definitely an easy route to look at from a future point of view, rather than hoping for the best. It also gives you that little bit of extra time whilst you're at university to decide exactly what you want to do. Between myself and Sam, our job is actually not all that related to what we did at university, and it allowed us to actually understand, whilst we were at university, what kind of thing we wanted to do for a living. So it's not essential that you go and do a university course in sales, for example, to go and do a sales job. And whilst we were at university, there was a wealth of career support, the option to go on a year in industry throughout the course. So there's plenty of different ways where you can actually have a bit more time to understand exactly what you want to do with your life. And then there's plenty of graduate roles. So Sam himself joined through a graduate scheme, and even now there are plenty of graduate roles on the market. It's a very clearly defined route, because a lot of companies will look to bring on graduates, and I know a lot of the people that I was friends with at university joined graduate roles and have now kept on moving up within those companies, within those industries that they joined straight from university. So it is a really nice solid path. And once I joined Konica, I've stayed for a fairly long time, and the same with Sam as well. So it's a nice secure route. I will now pass over to Natalie, who will pick up with her career.
Lovely, thanks ever so much, Henry. Well, I've already introduced myself, so I won't do that again. But I was just going to share a little bit more about my career and where I sit in Konica Minolta. So as David said at the start, there was 5 different areas, and I sit in the people and culture function. I haven't been here as long as some of us. I've actually only been here for 3 months, recently joining as the talent development leader, which, as I said, is quite a broad area, covering from talent acquisition and recruitment, all the way through to our technical training for our colleagues, our leadership development, and then numerous different talent programmes, working both with the UK and our European colleagues as well. The thing about people and culture, though, I will say it is exactly that. It is all about the people. Everything that we do puts our colleagues at the centre, at the heart of what we do here at Konica Minolta. My career history isn't actually that interesting, I suppose. I haven't moved around or experienced a lot of different things, unlike perhaps Henry and Kathleen and Vern. I have always worked in HR specialist roles. Recently joining Konica Minolta from Openreach and previously as part of BT, which is part of BT Group. So whether I've worked in change roles as transformational change leads, whether I've worked in HR project management roles, or leadership development, leadership design, and the most recent role was very much programme lead for inclusion and diversity, and delivering multiple programmes of work in Openreach that drive the inclusion in the organisation. They are all specialist HR roles. I love it. I love working with people. I love being part of a people-centric organisation. And one of the key things I find that helps me with lifelong learning is to be part of other networks, to be part of things like the CIPD organisation, to network with other colleagues internally and externally within the profession. And that's fundamental, I think, for whatever your role is, whatever your profession is to keep that development and that growth. I've just put 4 skills here, more about me perhaps, but in my role, these are critical: to be focused on the customer and to make sure that we put the customer and our people at the heart of what we do. It is about driving change. It is about generating enthusiasm and having energy. Again, keeping that high energy even when you're necessarily facing more challenging times is key. Being resilient and being able to manage your own resilience and top up your resilience levels if you do feel them are dropping a little, and having a very strong sense of delivering the results that are needed for the business, and delivering those projects or programs of work, all the activities that you are leading on to the highest possible quality. So as I say, that's me. I haven't moved around quite as much, but I do very much love what I do, and I do recommend a career in focusing on people as well. What I'll do then, before I hand back to David, and I know you may have noticed on the slides at the top right-hand corner, it says 150 years, and that's actually, we are celebrating this year in 2023 our birthday in Konica Minolta for 150 years. It's a great time for reflection, and it's a time for celebrating the organisation and the history that we have gone through. So we'll end with a short video reflecting on our history and then answer any of your questions.
We are 150 years of seeing the possible, doing things differently for the good of society and the world. We are 150 years of progress, invention, reinvention, evolution, revolution. We are 150 years of determination, believing we can affect change, make an impact. We are 150 years of gratitude to every partner, dreamer, and doer. We are 150 years of purpose, making the future brighter for every community, every person, everywhere. We are 150 years, and this is just the start. We are 100.
Oh, it's not going to play. There we go. So that is our presentation and content. Really, it's now just hand over to the audience and if there are any questions for us at all.
Thank you so much. That was really informative and it covered all of our main aims for this project as well. So I want to say thank you. I know I learned a lot myself. It was great to hear some of your stories and your roots into Konica Minolta, as well as your previous roles as well. So thank you. The only question that I have before I just hand over to everyone else is, In terms of applying for jobs, is it that they apply, individuals will apply on your website, or do you use external companies like such as Indeed?
We use a range.
Okay.
And we have our external website. But then we used various job boards, LinkedIn, Indeed is a big one, and then we will try and partner wherever possible with schools if we are going and recruiting in a particular area. So that if we're looking for a particular specialist role or a technical role, we may use an agency that'll help us, or we may use a technical partner like a board. So big range, but Indeed and LinkedIn are our two key areas. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Hi, Julia. Well, I think you're just muted.
Apologies. Sorry, I just realised that. Thank you. Just to say thank you really very much. It was really insightful. I had no idea. I live in Basildon and I drive past your building quite a lot, and I have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. So it was really interesting. Couple of questions really. Do you have specific recruitment days? And also, do you sort of come into, we're an adult college, so would you come in to talk to learners perhaps? I mean, we have obviously our sort of main age group is 19 and over, but that sometimes means that individuals are looking for a complete career change. They might have been in the labour market, but they're looking for a complete career change. So just wondered if you did any of that really. Thank you.
So yes, absolutely. You probably saw when I was talking about some of the things that we did in education across the UK. We've done across a number of areas, either specifically focusing on promoting STEM subjects within a school environment or a college environment, or also doing things more like sort of employability workshops. So a couple of years ago, I was involved in a workshop where we were doing sort of mock interviews for students, and that was actually a really sort of rewarding experience, but also I think the students got a lot from it as well, about not being quite so afraid about that sort of first interview that they might go to. So yes, we absolutely do those sort of things, and part of it being involved in networks like this is to make connections and be involved in those sort of things. So yeah, feel free to get in touch, and maybe we can work together on that.
Lovely, thank you, David. That's great.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions? I know we've got a few poll questions as well, if you're happy for me to launch those and everyone can answer them.
Yes, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Perfect. And we'll just allow anyone else to answer anything I've got.
So yeah, if you wouldn't mind just taking a few minutes just to answer, or a few seconds to answer those questions, only two there, but it'd just be useful feedback for us.
Thank you. And David, if you're happy after this, so I send up a follow-up email to everyone who's attended in terms of getting in touch about the experience that Julia just mentioned. Would you mind if I passed your email address on, or if not, are you happy to provide me with one that I can pass on to Julia?
No, just share my email address. That's absolutely fine.
Thank you. Amazing. So I don't believe we've got any more questions. So what I will do is I'll just begin to wrap things up. So I just want to finish by saying a massive thank you to you all. So Dave, Veronica, Natalie, Kathleen and Henry. It was really engaging and really informative, so thank you very much, and thank you to everyone that come along as well and for your questions and engagement. So as I mentioned at the start, this recording will go onto our YouTube channel, so you're able to view that at any point. I will send up a follow-up email after this to you all separately, in terms of I'll send it to you guys at Konica Minolta, sorry, and I'll also send it to the attendees, so it will be with just a bit more information following up from this, and it'll also have the link in there. So just, yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to just thank you all again, and unless there's anything else to add, I think we're finished.
Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you.